this that a quick, super brief foreshadow. I grew up raised by a beautiful single mother. She's amazing. I love her to death. We grew up in a home rooted in domestic violence. My stepdad growing up beat the hell out of us and drank a lot. And before that, my original father, my biological father, was never around. My mother gave me a cassette tape at 24 years old that said this would have every question that I ever wanted to know about my biological father, every answer that I ever wanted on this tape. This year, for my birthday, I was given a cassette tape by my biological father, and I've never seen him before, never heard his voice. And you guys are going to figure out about everything that I do, as well as kind of this story in this segment. So yeah, we can start. Hello. My government name is Marcel Bryant Price. Bryant was a name given to me by my biological father. You will later find out why this is significant. Most people know me as Fable or Fable the Poet. I'm a full-time artist, activist, teacher, youth worker, poet, creative, and motivational speaker. At 25, I had never been out of the state of Michigan. Now, thanks to poetry, I've been to 16 states, been close to 100 shows out of state, and I'm blessed enough to spread my message to our youth and adults alike. Most of my work revolves around sharing my story with others, showing that at times we all feel fragile. We're all paper boats battling the waves of life. I talk about my experiences with domestic violence, mental illness, self-harm, substance abuse, and inform individuals that you can sculpt your own future. I show the youth that you can be great. And if you fight, love, and speak on your hardships, you can take control of them. Now a poem. Back in the day, when I was really, really young, I remember telling all of the other kids at school that my dad was a superhero. And that he was so busy saving everyone else to have any time for me. As I grew older, I started to refer to him as Santa Claus, a man of folklore and unfathomable presence that only really came upon the mind once or twice a year when it is cold and you are entertaining the thought of warmth. Feeling whole instead of mason jar with fireflies, see, my empty spaces always light up when I am the darkest. Today, for what seems like the 100th time, I listened to my biological father whisper me bittersweet nothings via a cassette tape that was delivered in an envelope postmarked 1988. A symphony of not shits, can't do's, won't do's, should haves, and will nevers. 20 glorious minutes of why he can't and won't ever be in my life. How thoughtful of him. You should have titled it, Why You Don't Have a Dad. Seal it with a kiss, or his cologne, or some sweet lovey-dovey movie shit, instead of getting my fucking middle name wrong on the outro. A wholehearted middle finger, post sucker punch below the belt. You know what? Fuck it. Let's throw in a Mike Tyson biting through my cartilage cheap shot metaphor. This part right here, nah. We'll save the fancy wordplay and beautiful imagery for a poem not about him. This isn't that poem. This won't be his poem. I will not give him something to be proud of. Why do you think I live my life like this? 2 parts self-abuse, 7 parts fearful of success, 1 part neglect, no part self-love though. I'm not gonna pick up where he decided to leave off. I will leave it there on the shelf with a cape he never chose to wear, in the closet with other childish fantasies. 2 weeks ago, I saw God from the back seat of a Lexus coupe. He looked like a coked out felon. He smelled like fear and recovery. He chose to total the car going 120 miles an hour and made me realize that I am only a human. He had my life in his hands, opposed of my existence, disregarded that he had souls in the back seat, tried to turn a fable to an anecdote. I climbed out of a totaled car, kissing the ground the way the police like us to, us, black. Thanks, Dad. I appreciate the gift of life. My life keeps spiraling out of control. I bet he's proud. I'm a hurricane of heartbreak and ugly shit. What am I doing here? How did I get here? Is where I ask myself most nights, mouth tasting like, well, something, because, well, I had to use something to make myself feel better before I use someone. And I get that from him. I always rewind and play back the part where he talks about his love life. Son, my son, I've never been in any good relationships. You can ask your mother this one day. I have a secret. I never asked her. I never wanted to know. But you know what's the worst part? He ended it with a poem. For 14 days, I hated poetry. I would hear him speak in our open mics and watch him turn my safe haven into a battleground of self-discovery. I played hopscotch with a minefield of vices, hoping I would land in them and not wake up to another day of picking up pieces of myself back in the day when I was really, really young. I wasn't broken. I'm hoping I can find that boy again. I will shower him in comic books and cartoons. I will tell him not to look for his father here. I will tell him one day he can become a hero to somebody. My name is Fable. I'm a poet from here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. We do after-school programs with the youth as well as we do assemblies, and we try to tell them that they can empower themselves by speaking about their stressors. Later this year, we're going to be working with 10 different Grand Rapids public schools with youth over 4 weeks to do just that, to do a huge community event to advertise basically them taking pride in what they do. I'm also going to be doing a session here with the Men's Resource Center, teaching men, young men, not to rape and not to be hyper-masculine. I have books, I have cards, if anybody wants to come and talk. I have a credit card reader if you want to buy more of my poems. I appreciate you guys listening. I have tons of videos and stuff like that. If you guys do want to see more of my work, I have tons of audio online. We do a show every Monday at Stella's Lounge called The Drunken Retort. You can come, listen to poetry, have an amazing fucking time. I appreciate you guys so much. I appreciate you guys listening. But this is exactly what we do: is we build the youth up and empower them to share their stories no matter how hard it is. I'm currently partnered with an organization called Mental Health America, and they're letting me go all across the nation and do exactly that. I feel really privileged to be an artist who now can make a way and make a living off of doing what I love. After all your life, you've been told and treated like you're not shit, and it feels good to actually get that point. Thank you guys for listening.